What ukulele should I buy? It's a very good question when you're buying your first ukulele, and we're gonna get into it in this video. Welcome to Wicked Easy Ukulele. I'm GoCat Dave, and today we're gonna talk about the different sizes of ukuleles. Now, there's 5 different standard sizes, but only 3 that we're gonna be concerned with. The smallest is the soprano ukulele. The next size up is the concert ukulele. The next size up from that is the tenor ukulele. Those are the only 3 we're going to be really talking about today. There's also a baritone ukulele, but those are tuned differently. And then there's a bass ukulele, which is pretty much like a bass guitar. It's something you'd be playing in a very different way. So don't worry about the baritone and don't worry about the bass for now. We're just going to think about the soprano, the concert, and the tenor. Now the soprano is the smallest ukulele. It's the one that has the sound most people associate with the ukulele because it's small, it's a little bit thin sounding compared to the other ukuleles, but it's great and it's my recommendation for a first ukulele. The second size up is the concert ukulele, and that's a great one to start with too. It's a little bit bigger, so better for people that have big hands, and it has a little bit more of a richer sound. Not so much the classic ukulele sound, but something that's just a little fuller bodied. Then the next size is the tenor, and that one's a little bigger than the concert. And once again, that one is even more fuller sounding, which is great for certain applications. If you want your ukulele to sound a little bit like a classical guitar, you're moving in that direction when you go with a tenor ukulele. So now let's have a look at the 3 different ukuleles we'll be talking about: the soprano, the concert, and the tenor. So this is my soprano ukulele. It's the smallest of my ukuleles. It's actually the one I play the most. I have it hung right over my computer. It's very easy to pick up, move around, set down. It's a very portable instrument. And this is what a soprano ukulele sounds like. Another great reason to go with the soprano ukulele is because it's so lightweight and small. It's very easy to hold. I can hold it with my arm like that with no problem. And if I wanted to strum, I could even hold it on the bottom here if I wanted to strum with my thumb. If you want to strum with your finger, you have to have more weight here, but you can still do it very easily. I recommend getting straps though. Now this is a concert size ukulele. It's a little bit bigger and it has a little bit of a fuller sound. Listen. This is my second favorite size of a ukulele. And sometimes it's my favorite depending on what I'm trying to play. But these are my 2 favorite sizes, soprano and concert. And I wear a strap for this because it's harder to hold just under your arm, and it kind of wants to come out. You want to keep it close to you, so that's why I always recommend straps. Now this is a tenor ukulele. It's one of my first ukuleles, and it's a little scuffed up because I use it to play a lot of punk rock. But it is the biggest one. It has the longest neck and fretboard. And here's what it sounds like. So once again, it's a little bit of a fuller sound than even the concert ukulele, but it's also bigger, which makes it again a little bit more unwieldy if you don't have a strap. Here are the 3 ukuleles lined up together so you can get an idea of the difference in size. What I've done here is line them up approximately by where the nut is at the very top of the ukulele. And if I pull back, you can see that the soprano is the smallest, the concert's bigger, and the tenor's bigger than that. The fretboard of the soprano is noticeably shorter than the fretboard of the concert. Now moving from the concert to the tenor, you'll see that the fretboard is longer on the tenor than it is on the concert. And so that's really the best way to tell the size rather than just the bottom of the ukulele to the top. It really has to do with the fretboard. Now my recommendation for a first ukulele in most situations is going to be the soprano ukulele. I mentioned the size and the weight being very light, but also the strings are very easy to press down and hold down without hurting your fingers. You've heard about, electric guitarists or bass players, they have to build up these big calluses on their fingers. Otherwise, it feels like it's cutting into your fingers. So with the soprano ukulele, if you have that at all, it's to a much less degree. You just hold down your string just with a little bit of pressure and you can get a full sound. So it's easier to play, and so that's another great reason. The other thing is it just has that traditional ukulele sound that you're familiar with. So when you start to learn songs, you're gonna say, oh yeah, that's what I'm familiar with as the sound of a ukulele. So it's always nice to start out in have the sound be something you're familiar with. Now, one reason you might want to go with a concert rather than a soprano is if you have really big hands and maybe you'll have trouble forming the chords, on a tiny fretboard. But remember, Bretta was no small guy and he had big hands and he tended to play a soprano ukulele most of the time. Most famously on his version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. So definitely when you're shopping and you're out at a music store, try out a few different sizes, and if you think you could go either way with a soprano or a concert, I would recommend going with the soprano. It's just a better place to start. But if you just feel like your fingers are too big for it, then going with a concert is fine too. You could go with a tenor if you just like the sound better. That will not be a problem. Any of the three main sizes, the soprano, the concert, and the tenor, are all great places to start. You shouldn't have any problem with any of those sizes, but it's just going to be much easier with the soprano to learn from scratch. Now, it's absolutely possible to order your first ukulele online. I personally recommend going into a music store where you can pick it up, feel it, see what size feels good to you, see if you get some sort of, cosmic connection between you and the ukulele, like it's speaking to you, I'm your ukulele, by me. You can't have that experience if you're just ordering online. However, if you read a lot of reviews and you're convinced that a particular ukulele is a great model and that's where you want to start, you can go that way too. It's just if there are any issues with it, you'll probably have to send it back, whereas a music store, you can just go in and say, this seems to be warped or something and I need to replace it with a different ukulele. So that's my little intro to the different sizes of the ukulele. Definitely pop back for more intro ukulele videos and also some tips and tricks as we go along. So have a great day and keep on uking.